he didn't just hit harder. He hit differently, faster, smarter.
Super technical, man.
I think this fight is done. Oh, it's over. It's over.
This guy's terrifying.
The natural born crusher!
There are fighters who step into the ring, and then there's Takeru Segawa, a man who walks in with the quiet confidence of a storm and leaves behind nothing but devastation. They call him the Born Crusher. But even that doesn't fully capture the terrifying precision of his technique or the savage rhythm of his rise. In a sport filled with violence and flash, Takeru is something rarer, a modern samurai in 4-ounce gloves, carving his legend one broken opponent at a time. Born in 1991, in a quiet corner of Japan, Takeru wasn't raised to be a warrior. If anything, he was headed down a darker path entirely. A troublemaker from a young age, he was expelled from high school just 3 months in, directionless, restless, and full of fire with nowhere to burn. Until he found the gym. It wasn't fate, but it felt like it. The smell of sweat, the sound of leather on pads, the discipline, the grind, martial arts became more than just a way out. It became everything. By 2011, at just 20 years old, Takeru Segawa made his professional debut under the Crush banner, a subsidiary of K1. His first opponent, Hirofumi Kamada, barely knew what hit him. Takeru sliced through him like a razor through silk, and the message was clear. Japan had bred a monster. He wasn't just fast, he was surgical, technical, merciless, and hungry. The crowd may have been watching a debut, but to Takeru, it was already a coronation. He'd arrived, and he wasn't going anywhere. His early fights were pure violence. Takeru had no fear of chaos. He welcomed it, danced in it, and more often than not, walked out untouched. He had a way of zeroing in on his opponent's weaknesses, like a predator who had studied its prey for weeks, not minutes. But with success came swagger, and with swagger, a creeping sense of invincibility. He stopped acknowledging his opponents, fought recklessly, walked into the fire just to prove he could walk out of it. Then came the summer of 2012, and the humbling Yuki Kitani was composed, calculated, and didn't care for the hype. While Takeru flailed with arrogance, Kitani surgically dismantled him. Each shot was a lesson, a reminder that no matter how talented you are, ego has no place in the ring. Takeru's nose exploded under pressure, a crimson explosion that painted his face in failure. The fight was stopped. His first loss, a brutal one, but, in a strange way, it was the most important win of his career, because it changed him. He went back to the gym, not to sulk, but to evolve. He studied his flaws like sacred texts, and when he returned, it wasn't with a vengeance, it was with a purpose. He became a machine. For the next 10 years, he didn't just win. He crushed. Knockdowns came in waves. Opponents fell like dominoes. The fighter who once relied on instinct now fought with intention, methodically breaking down each challenger with terrifying efficiency. But the path to greatness is never straight. In one fight, an opponent landed a crushing blow so precise that future parenthood looked uncertain for a moment. But Takeru, resilient as ever, came back swinging. That same night, he sent his opponent flying out of the dimension, turning the fight into another bloody chapter in his growing legend. Win after win followed, 13 in a row, each more violent than the last. By 2015, he finally got his title shot against the reigning Crush Super Bantamweight champion, Iga Kuboy. From the opening bell, Takeru dictated the fight. The crowd watched him. He broke Kuboy down round by round, shot by shot. The champion fought back bravely, but it wasn't enough. At one point, it looked like Takeru had activated some anime-style transformation mid. He poured it on until the referee had no choice but to step in. His first belt, and with it, the nickname that would haunt his division for years, the Born Crusher. But he wasn't content with local domination. He wanted global recognition. That meant bigger opponents, stronger strikers, and heavier hands. His next big test came in the form of Alexander Prilip, a Russian fighter whose punches felt like Siberian frostbite. The early rounds were brutal. The Russian was relentless, determined to shut down the Japanese sensation. But as the fight wore on, Takeru adjusted. He absorbed the punishment, found his rhythm, and began dissecting his opponent with clean, brutal counters. By the final round, he wasn't just winning, he was bullying the Russian around the ring. Then came Charles Giovanni, a Frenchman whose fists were as refined as Bordeaux wine and just as intoxicating. Takeru started the fight cocky, taunting and trading recklessly. But the Frenchman fought back. It became a war of attrition, until Takeru, like always, found the gear his opponent couldn't. A few sharp counters, a flurry of knees, and Bon Giovanni folded like a bad poker hand. He took down Chinese fighters, Americans, Russians. The canvas kept collecting bodies, and Takeru kept collecting belts. By June 2016, he met Kaito Ozawa for the K1 featherweight title, a fight that felt more like a katana duel than a kickboxing match. The two warriors clashed like ancient rivals, their limbs slicing the air with deadly intent. But Takeru's will was unshakable. Despite taking damage, he kept pressing forward, flooring Ozawa multiple times and sealing the win by unanimous decision. Another belt, another legacy cemented. He defended his titles against international challengers. Victor Saravia, from the US, dispatched. More Russians, defeated. Then came Kasuga Komiyama, a top 10 global kickboxer who lasted just 2 rounds before Takeru erased him from the fight and the rankings. That win made history. Takeru became K1's first ever triple-weight champion. 3 belts, 3 divisions, 1 name, but every reign, no matter how dominant, must face its reckoning.
左ミドルキックにつなげたいい手に合図とタケルを合わせた2人左ミドルキック小沢いいぞしかし刻んだやはりタケルが今回もまっさらな綺麗なベルトをその腰に巻くことになるのか壮絶激烈激闘タケルが
25青タケルジャッジというのが最後
On June 19, 2022, Japan hosted the match, a super fight pitting Takeru Segawa against Tenshin Nosuke. It was more than just a fight, it was a cultural event, a battle for supremacy between 2 icons. Tenshin wasn't just flashy, he was a tactician, a ghost in the ring, who struck with the precision of a sniper. From the opening bell, Takeru was overwhelmed. Tenshin's jabs were lasers, his knees, heat-seeking missiles. Every time Takeru tried to close the distance, he was met with violence. He hit the canvas hard, wobbled back to his feet like a man chasing a train that had already left the station. Tenshin was too fast, too sharp, too clean. Takeru fought valiantly, but by the end, the decision was clear. Tenshin had won. In front of 60,000 live fans and over 500,000 pay-per-view viewers, the Born Crusher had been crushed, but he didn't disappear. After a year of recovery, Takeru re-emerged, this time in Paris. His opponent, British fighter Bailey Sugden, never stood a chance. Takeru dominated from start to finish. It was less a fight and more a public execution. Every shot was precise, every exchange a reminder that the Crusher had returned. He knocked out the Brit with the kind of power that echoes even after the lights go out.
Voilà. Allez Takeru.
Then came the challenge that no one saw coming. Superlek, Kayatmu 9, the Thai phenom, the destroyer of Rot, the human typhoon. Their bout in early 2024 was a masterclass in pain and strategy. Superlek opened with a barrage of low kicks that felt like carving knives. Takeru's lead leg took a savage beating. The Japanese star fought back with all his will, nearly flipping the momentum late in the fight. But the damage had already been done. Superlek stayed composed and edged out the decision. Takeru left the ring in a wheelchair, his legs swollen and limp, resembling something between a bruised peach and a soaked noodle. Still, he wouldn't stay down. In September 2024, he returned to face Myanmar's Thwei Thidongzin, a walking tank who had one mission: demolish Takeru. The opening round was chaos. Takeru was dropped, the crowd gasped, and even Rodtang, watching ringside, sighed, disappointed he wouldn't be the one to break the legend. But in the second round, everything flipped. Takeru baited, countered, and smashed through Zin's guard with atomic precision. The knockout was surgical, a comeback forged in fire. Now, all eyes turn to what's next, a showdown years in the making. Takeru Segawa versus Rodtang Jitmuangnan. 2 men, 2 legacies. 1 ring Takeru, the surgical storm. Rodtang, the iron-hearted brawler. 1 calculated, 1 relentless. Both terrifying in their own ways. If it happens, and all signs point to it, it will be a battle etched into the very DNA of kickboxing history. Because Takeru isn't just a fighter, he's a symbol of discipline, of redemption, of what happens when raw talent meets unshakable will. From a troubled teen to a 3-division world champion, his journey is nothing short of mythical. The Born Crusher is still here, still dangerous, and still chasing greatness. But what about you? Who do you think wins in a war between Takeru Segawa and Rodtang? Is the Crusher destined to reclaim his crown, or will Rodtang prove he's truly the immovable object? Let us know your predictions below. And if you enjoyed this dive into martial arts royalty, hit that like button. Subscribe for more legendary fight stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss a round.